Welcome. Today I am doing a mid-year tag video. I know technically when I post this, June will have paused, but I am filming this in June, so it counts. Yeah, unfortunately, I just already had all of June planned out and I kind of forgot the mid-year tag was a thing. So this will just be my first upload of July and I'll push back my wrap-up video by a month. But yes, I am doing the tag. So far this year, I have read 41 books, which is insane. I think March, where I read 13, was really what sped it up, but I've read 41 books. My goal for this year was 12 books. And let me just say this first and foremost. Last year, my goal was 12, and then I upped it to 52 when I got my library card and I started listening to audiobooks. I was going to make my goal 65 this year, and then I made it 60, and then I made it 52, and then I lowered it to 12. And the reason for that is because I realized I was stressing as I was reading books because I just kept thinking about oh, but I have to read this many books a year and I'm taking so long reading this one and blah 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 blah. And I don't want reading to ever become a chore for me. So I lessened it to 12, and the reason I did it as 12 was because I feel like one book a month is a very realistic goal to have, especially for a normal person who doesn't always find time to read, who is a slow reader. One book a month is a very realistic goal to have. So that is my goal and I'm happy with it. I have decided that that will be my goal from now on, and then I just read however many books I read. You know, if I read 12 books that year, great. If I read 50, if I read 100, whatever it is, it's fine. I would just like to read at least 12 books. I don't want to be below 12 books a year. I feel like one book a month is the lowest amount I want to read, so that's why my goal is 12. So technically, I've overcome my goal by 400%, but for me, it's not really about the goal, it's just fun to see. Like I said, 12 is the minimum that I want to read, so that's why I put that in. But yeah, goals really aren't even that big of a deal for me because at the end of the day, this is one of my most loved hobbies and I don't want it to turn into something that stresses me out when this is usually something I do to get rid of stress. So question 1 is the best book read in 2023 so far. This was both difficult and easy because I have had quite a lot of 5 stars so far this year. However, it has to be Mysteries of Thorn Manor. I absolutely loved the first book. I was counting down the days for the novella to come out, and the novella was just the perfect little wrap up. I mean, if you've watched any of my other videos, you will have heard me talk about Sorcery of Thorns. I absolutely love that series and I will never stop talking about it. So hands down, the best book I've read so far was that novella, and honestly I feel it's so short too. It's just the perfect thing to read if you're having a bad few days because you can get through it in a day or two. Even I could, and I'm a slow reader, so loved it. Perfect, amazing. Mwah. The best sequel that you've read so far in 2023 is the next question. And for that one, there is no other choice other than A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin. Both of those books were 5 stars. I was crying, I was squealing, I was giggling. It was such a fun experience. Truly, so far, I would have to say the original ACOTAR trilogy, best books SJM has written. I'm about halfway with Throne of Glass, and it's a really, really, really good series, don't get me wrong, but story-wise, I still love the original ACOTAR trilogy more. Character-wise, there's a lot of great characters, but the story is just a tad bit boring. A lot of people kind of compared it to Game of Thrones, but with Fae, and I can definitely see that. I definitely do agree with that, but even Game of Thrones to me sometimes is just boring, so that's why I feel that way. And then I've kind of heard that Crescent City is just kind of a shit show, but in a good way. A Court of Mist and Fury, Court of Wings and Ruins, best sequels, hands down. And Mysteries of Thorn Manor too. A new release you haven't read yet, but you want to. That would be Happy Place by Emily Henry. I actually just got it in from the library. I'm going to be listening to it. Very nervous that I won't finish it on time and then I'm gonna have to wait 8 more weeks to finish the second half, but I'm very excited to listen to it. I haven't bought it yet because I want the paperback. I am very much someone who needs their books to match, so I'm waiting for the paperback. I don't want the hardcover, but I don't mind waiting because again, I do have a library card I'm just gonna listen to it, and who knows, maybe I hate it and I don't even want it. That being said though, I don't see that happening because I have heard that this is her best book. So I've also heard that it's very different from everything else she's written, which is kind of exciting because Beach Read was the only 5-star that I've given her. The other 2 were 3 stars. So I'm excited for Happy Place because I'm hoping it being so different makes me like it more. Question 3, I believe, is question 3, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So I'm not really one to keep up with releases too much. There are a few authors here and there, but for the most part, I kind of just find out when I find out. But one that I'm very excited for that I know for certain is being released the second half of this year is Foxglove by Adalyn Grace, which is Belladonna's sequel. Belladonna and I had a rough patch, but I really like the main character whose name I am forgetting right now in Death. I love him so much. I absolutely love Death, and I can't wait to have more of their story. I can't wait to have more of their romance. And now that I know what to expect with this series, I think going into it, I'll be okay, because the problem is what I heard versus what I got were 2 very different things for me. So that's why I struggled with the first one. But yes, very excited for it. Will be listening to the first one again. We'll be making a reading vlog because I'm so excited. But yes, definitely highly anticipated. It's coming out sometime in August. I want to say the 23rd, but I think that's just my brain picking a number it likes. So who knows? But in August, sometime. Biggest surprise of the year so far. This one took me a second to think about, but I think the biggest surprise of the year so far is the fact that I actually picked up Throne of Glass. Because originally I picked up ACOTAR and I was like, I'm just reading this, I just want to know what it's about. I'm not picking up a 7-book series. The Lost book's like 1,000 pages. You have to tandem read 2 of them. I just don't want to deal with that much stress. We know I'm reading the series. And the reason I actually originally picked it up was because I wanted to read the Crescent series, only because it like linked to ACOTAR and I wanted to know what it was about. But then everyone was saying, oh, but Throne of Glass is going to be connected to it too. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll just read her entire backlog, discography, whatever it's called. And that was the biggest surprise, the fact that I actually started reading the series. I now own the entire series because I'm so far into it and I know I'm going to finish it. But the fact that I actually am doing it is still kind of like, I look at my shelf and I'm like, why? Why did I do this? The next question is favorite new author. It can either be a debut author or just someone that's new to you. And for me, I would have to, I guess, say SJM. I found a lot of other authors that I have enjoyed that I want to keep up with, but SJM's the only one who I've actually like committed to reading most, if not all, of her books. So I really can't not pick her. That being said though, I do think Carissa Broadbent is a really, really high contender for the second half of the year because I'm really enjoying The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I already have the sequel ready. There's another book I want to read by her, and if all this goes well, I'll pick up the Daughter of No Worlds trilogy as well. So she's definitely a contender. And then just so you know, my overall favorite author is Margret Rogerson, author of Mystery of Thorns, as you should know. Next question is newest fictional crush. I don't really get fictional crushes. I get characters that I obsess over a little bit, but which I guess is kind of a crush, but I don't know. Like for me, crush is a very specific term. So just my new fictional characters that I am kind of obsessed with, one so much more of, just I want to inhale content about them, would be Rowan and Manor from the Throne of Glass series. I just absolutely love like tough, badass characters. And I feel like Manor and Rowan are like the epitome of that. Manor's kind of evil, at least where I am, but I have a feeling she's gonna turn around. Unless I'm wrong. I know she's well loved, but villains can be well loved, so I don't know. I'm hoping she turns around though, because I don't really want to root for a villain. And then Rowan kind of just gives me blonde Rysand vibes. Well, not blonde, because his hair's like silver, which is better in my opinion. But yeah, those two are my new little crushes, obsessions, whatever you want to call them. I'm very much enjoying them. A book that made you cry, all of them. I'm joking, but there is a lot, so I'm just gonna read the literal list off of my tablet because I'm not gonna go into depth about each one, otherwise we will be here for an hour. And the next question is very similar to that. Again, I don't want you to watch a 2-hour video of me talking about why I cried. No one wants that. So, A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margret Rogerson. A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. The Crown by Kiera Cass. Beach Read by Emily Henry. And She Gets the Girl by Rachael Lippincott and Alyson Derrick. So those are all the books that made me cry. If you want to find out why, I guess read them. I don't know. Next one, a book that made you happy. Again, we're gonna list them. We're not gonna be here for an hour. Mysteries of Thorn Manor by Margret Rogerson. The One by Kiera Cass. The Crown by Kiera Cass. Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. And then Beach Read by Emily Henry. And then the next question is the most beautiful book that you've either received or bought so far in 2023. And that would hands down have to be my collector's edition of A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's actually literally just behind you. It is absolutely stunning. The gold foiling on the black and the art and the page, like, it's absolutely gorgeous, stunning, beautiful. I love it. It was a Valentine's Day gift from my boyfriend for me, and yeah, I just love it. I have it on display, not even on my bookshelf, just on a normal shelf that we have. I have it on display with some of my other very like precious old books that I have. They're also like family heirlooms from my parents and grandparents and all that fun jazz. And then the final question is, what books do you need to finish this year? For me, there's not really any books that I need to finish this year. It's more so books that I really would like to finish this year. The only one that I need to finish is the Throne of Glass series. And the reason for that is because I am not dragging that series into 2024. I refuse to do that. That series will be finished before January. I originally hoped to get it finished in August, but considering July is just around the corner, don't see that happening anytime soon. Another book that I really would like to finish, and that I really do think I will, is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. It is the Serpent and the Wings of Night's sequel. I do talk about this in the reading vlog that I'm going to be posting for those books, but it's a series of 6 books, but it's 3 duologies. So how I'm going to read them is I'm going to read the first duology and then wait for the second duology to be fully published, and then read the second duology, and then again with the third one wait for it to be fully published. So that is my plans for it. So I really would like to finish it so that when the 4th book in, I believe, 2025 comes out, I could just pick those up. Maybe I'll change my mind and just read them as they come out. I'm not sure yet. I still have time because the next sequel is only coming out next year anyway, but I really do want to finish this duology. And then in addition to that, I really do think that I will. I'm halfway with the first book, and then I'm picking up the second book immediately after that. So I do think I'll be able to finish it relatively quickly. I think maybe another month or 2. The second book is quite thick, so there is that to consider. I really would like to start and finish Legends and Lattes. It went really viral last year, and I wasn't really planning on reading it, but just everyone liked it so much, so I was like, okay, I want to go to shop. But I haven't read it yet because I want to wait until it's closer to October. Where I am, we don't really have much of an autumn. I do still want to pick it up around that time though, even though I won't have like the weather and the coziness, just to like get in the mood of Halloween and Christmas time and all of that. Even though I don't have the weather, I just feel like it would be a nice little get into it, like how you read summer books in summer kind of situation. It's just that for me. And luckily it is short. I'm very excited to read it, and it will be, I think, my second cozy fantasy. I think I've only really read one, which was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. So I'm very excited for that one. I definitely think I'm going to get to it and finish it this year. Another cozy fantasy that I recently bought is The House in the Cerulean Sea, I think it's called. I would love to pick that up. The cover's giving me summer though, so I want to try and maybe pick it up after I finish the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. That being said though, I also have Dreams Lie Beneath, which was just gifted to me, and I've been wanting to read that one for months, so both of those I'm gonna have to try and fit in somewhere. But I think House of the Cerulean Sea has to be read in the summer, because that's what I'm guessing. Let me know though if I should read it in a specific season, because I don't know. I also recently got the Six of Crows series, which is, I never wanted to read it, but everyone and their mothers won't stop blabbering on about how amazing it is. And then Amazon had a sale. The box set was like $17, and it was like buy one get one, so I like buy 2 get 1 free for books. So I just grabbed it along with 2 other books. So I'm gonna have to read it at some point, and I would like to try and read it this year, but it's also not really that high of a priority. So if it gets pushed to next year, I'm okay with that. But ideally, I would like to try and finish it this year. But with Throne of Glass, I don't know how I'm gonna start anything else. It's dragging on a bit. And finally, I really wanted to finish Crescent Sissy 1 and 2 this year so that I can just go straight into 3 when it comes out in January. I think I'm just gonna give up on that goal. I highly doubt that it will come out. I think after Throne of Glass, I'm gonna need an SJM break. And Crescent Sissy, like, the series is so unbelievably big, and I feel like it's one of those books where it's like, did it need to be this big? I don't think it did. I really don't. I already feel that way with some of her books, to be honest. It's like, did you have to make it that big? You couldn't have cut like 200 pages. Anyway, ideally I would like to finish it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how I feel. All that jazz. My hopes are very low, but it's fine. I don't mind too much. It might be for the best to save it anyway, and then I can just binge read the first 3. Maybe I can find out if CC3 ends on a cliffhanger and if I should just wait for the 4th book to come out so that I can just read all of them at one go. We'll see. We will see. But yeah. Oh, Priory of the Orange Tree. Like I said, I was gifted that earlier this year. Not earlier this year. I was gifted it in December of last year. And it is June, and I still haven't picked it up. That book is massively intimidating, which is funny because Throne of Glass, way more intimidating. Point is, that will be read this year. It will. I will not allow myself to not read it. So maybe I'll pick that one up soon. Yeah, I think that might be like a September-ish read. We will see how far and what I'm doing. But yes, Priory of the Orange Tree is another one that I won't allow to go into next year because at that point I'm probably just never going to read it, and I don't want to do that. I really do want to read it. I'm just scared. It's one of those books where I feel like I'm too stupid to read it, which is that stupid in itself, but it is what it is. However, that was my mid-year book tag. It's been an okay reading year for me so far. Lots of reading old series to figure out what the hype's about for me this year, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but you know, it is what it is. I just need to get through this year. Next year will be better. We're good. Like, as soon as I get Throne of Glass done, I think I can survive, you know? I think that's like my biggest thing. Once I get through SJM, I think I'll be fine. And I'll stop feeling like I'm wasting reading time. Because with series is, because it's just one really long story, I get to a point sometimes where it's just like, I'm wasting books, but it's fine. We're good. We're gonna get there. But yeah, let me know how your reading year is going. Are you also catching up on books, or is there anything specific that you must finish before January 2024 hits us? And if you like me or my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.